You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success.
Man, my to-do list, it's out of control. Like, seriously. It feels like everyone I talk to is just drowning in work.
Yeah, it's relentless, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone's always searching for that, like, mythical work-life balance.
Right.
So when I heard about this whole 4-hour workday thing, let me tell you, I was intrigued.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
So that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
Is a 4-hour workday actually doable, or is it, like, total fantasy? We've got some sources to help us unpack this. First up, the 4-hour workday. It's not a myth, it's a system. Sounds promising, right?
It does. And, it's really interesting to think about how much our attitude towards work has changed. This whole idea of a 40-hour work week, it's kind of outdated when you think about it, like a leftover from the days of factories and assembly lines.
Right. The way we work now is totally different.
Exactly. Today, everyone wants flexibility. They want their work to have meaning. It's like what they call the life course perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, people's expectations from their jobs have completely transformed.
Okay, so it sounds like this 4-hour workday idea kind of taps into that desire for flexibility.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? The 4-hour workday source, they're big on time management, specifically something called the Eisenhower matrix. Ever heard of it?
Oh, for sure. The Eisenhower matrix is all about, like, working smarter, not harder. It helps you figure out which tasks are actually important and which ones just feel urgent in the moment. Imagine this. You're getting ready for, like, a huge presentation.
Okay, I'm with you.
So obviously creating the actual content of the presentation that's both urgent and important, right?
Good sense.
But then there are things like answering every single email the second it comes in, or like reorganizing your desktop icons.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
Right. Those things might feel urgent, but they're actually just distracting you from the real work.
Okay, so you're saying we need to get better at prioritizing, and this ties into the second source. We've got an automation course called Automations Made Easy. Their whole thing is freeing up your time by, well, automating stuff. But I guess the key is knowing what to automate.
100%.
Mhm.
It's about being strategic. Think about things like scheduling social media posts, setting up automatic email replies, even stuff like generating reports. All those little tasks can really add up.
And they can totally suck you in, you know? You get lost in the weeds and suddenly half your day is gone.
Exactly. But if you can automate those things, it frees you up to focus on the bigger picture stuff, the stuff that actually moves the needle.
So we're talking about, like, reclaiming our time.
Exactly.
Love it. Okay, so reclaiming our time, that's the goal. But does this 4-hour workday actually deliver? Like, what are the results?
So the 4-hour workday source, they found some pretty interesting stuff. Like, employees tend to be way happier when they have more control over their time.
Makes sense to me.
Right. And happier employees are usually more loyal to the company, too. Plus, there's even evidence that productivity can go up when people aren't stuck in that traditional 9-to-5 grind.
Really? So it's not just about working less, it's about working differently.
Exactly. And it seems like a lot of people are on board with this idea. I mean, you've probably seen all those articles about the 4-day work week, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Everyone seems to want that. But I mean, it can't all be sunshine and roses, right? There's got to be some downsides to this whole 4-hour workday thing.
You're totally right. It's not a perfect system. One of the biggest challenges is accountability.
Ah, I see. Like, how do you make sure everyone's actually getting their work done if they have so much freedom?
Exactly. It can be tough to manage expectations and track progress when everyone's working on their own schedule. Plus, there's the whole issue of remote work.
Which, ironically, is supposed to give us more work-life balance. At least that's what everyone always says.
Right. But it's so easy for those lines to get blurred when your home is also your office.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm always finding myself answering emails at, like, 10 p.m.
It's like the planning fallacy on steroids.
The what now?
The planning fallacy.
Yeah.
You know how we always underestimate how long something will take?
Oh, right. Like when you think you can finish a project in an hour, and then suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you're still going.
Exactly. And with remote work, that can bleed into your personal time without you even realizing it. And then there's the whole technology thing. Those productivity tools we were talking about.
Yeah.
They can be amazing, but also kind of dangerous. It's easy to get sucked into this vortex of, like, optimizing your workflow and checking notifications.
Oh my gosh, yes. I've definitely fallen into that trap. It's like you spend 3 hours trying to save yourself 1 hour.
Totally. It's like this weird productivity paradox.
It really is. Okay, so we've got accountability. We've got the potential for work to take over our lives. Anything else?
Well, the 4-hour workday source actually mentioned something else too, the risk of isolation. Especially with remote work, you're not having those casual interactions with colleagues, those water cooler moments.
That's a good point. Like, even if you love working from home, I imagine it could get kind of lonely after a while.
Exactly. And that loneliness can actually start to affect your work, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Humans are social creatures, and we need that connection.
So it seems like there's a lot more to this 4-hour workday thing than just working less.
It's a whole shift in mindset. It's about being intentional with your time, setting boundaries, and finding ways to stay connected.
So it's like the big question is, can you actually have it all? Can you have the freedom of a 4-hour workday without turning into a workaholic hermit?
Right. That's the dream.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's no easy answer.
Figures.
The 4-hour workday, it's more of a philosophy than a rigid rule book.
Okay, so it's more about changing your approach to work, not just the number of hours.
Exactly. It's about figuring out what really matters to you and building your work life around that.
I like that. So for everyone listening, think about your own situation. Even if a 4-hour workday seems impossible right now, are there things you can do today to get closer to that ideal?
Absolutely. Even small changes can make a big difference. Like, have you tried time blocking? Or automating some of those little tasks that drive you crazy.
Oh, and setting boundaries. That's a big one. Like actually disconnecting from work when you're off the clock.
Yes. Boundaries are crucial.
So it's all about being intentional, right?
100%.
Okay.
It's about making sure your time is spent on things that are actually meaningful to you, both at work and in your personal life.
It's not just about working less, it's about working smarter.
Exactly. And that's what this whole deep dive comes down to, really. It's about challenging those old assumptions about work and figuring out what a more fulfilling future could look like.
Love it. All right. That is some serious food for thought. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. And remember, work smarter, not harder.
Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.